Hello, everyone. On today's podcast episode, I'm going to talk about space again. I'm going to continue off where I left off. You know, I believe, scientists are wrong when it comes to certain things. And when it comes to their view of space, they've been wrong before, and I think they're wrong again. Before, they used to believe that, when space expands, right, it'll slowly start to slow down, right? But then, after a while, they realize that the expansion of space is speeding up. Another assumption they're making right now is that space itself doesn't have a center. They're assuming that the universe does not have a center, but that's impossible. If the universe has an edge, it must also have a center. There must be a middle point in the universe. And that middle point is where the universe first expanded from. The very first place where the universe expanded from should be the center. The very small hole where the universe first, where the Big Bang, the exact location where the Big Bang first expanded should be the center of the universe. But scientists keep assuming that the universe has no center. But that's impossible. Because if something has an edge, if there's an edge to the universe, there must also be a center. It's just how life works. A circle will always have an edge, a periphery, and a middle, a center. The sun has an edge and a center. A black hole has an edge and a center. The universe works just like a sun. It takes in energy, dark energy. The sun takes in mass, right? And spills out massless energy. It spills out heat. It spills out electromagnetic radiation. A black hole takes in matter and energy, all forms of matter, and spits out dark energy. The reason why we can't see energy coming from a black hole is because a black hole converts matter into dark matter. It converts matter and energy into dark matter. There must always be an energy release. This is just how, this is just how physics works. For energy to be added, energy must also be released. Like what I used before. If you dump water inside of an empty bottle of water inside an empty bottle, right? If you take an empty bottle, you open it, that bottle will be filled with air. As you slowly pour water into it, the air escapes. As energy enters the center of a black hole, energy must also come out of it. As energy enters the center of the sun, energy must also come out of it at the same time. The center of the sun releases thermal energy, heat. It releases heat. That's the energy that's coming from the sun. The sun absorbs mass and releases massless energy. A black hole absorbs all forms of matter, all energy, and releases dark energy. The reason why we don't see, the black hole spill out energy is because we can't detect dark energy. We can only detect regular energy. So scientists keep assuming that a black hole doesn't spit out anything because it can't detect anything coming from a black hole. But the truth is, following the law of duality, if something enters, something must also be released. Following the laws of physics itself, a black hole just can't absorb energy infinitely. It must also release it at the same time. So the fact that we can't see a black hole release energy, even though it's impossible for it not to be releasing energy, means it must be releasing energy that we can't see, that we can't detect. The only energy we can't detect is dark energy. A black hole is releasing dark electromagnetic waves. But since we can't detect dark electromagnetic waves, we don't see it. We assume a black hole isn't, releasing any form of energy. But it is. It has to be. It can't keep all that energy for itself. For example, a whirlpool. A whirlpool only works when all that water is going somewhere else. A whirlpool will never be a whirlpool if the water stays there. The water is being released, the energy called water is being released somewhere else. That's why the whirlpool keeps absorbing water. If you see a whirlpool, in a lake, that whirlpool only works because, water is being released elsewhere. Where is that water being released? It has to be released, right? That's exactly what's happened with, the sun. The sun absorbs mass, energy that's filled with mass, and then releases massless energy, or light. Light has no mass. The center of the sun has no mass. Because the center of the sun has no mass, it forms a vacuum that sucks in space. Space is filled with mass. Because it sucks in space, planets are inside space. Think of space as a massive pool of water. A massive pool of water. And the planets are sitting inside that pool of water. So when that pool of water is being pulled towards the sun, the planets will be pulled along with it. That's how the sun works. And that's why, the sun itself, if you see the sun and, how the energy works, you see it forms a whirlpool. Just like, a water, just like a whirlpool, in water, created from water. The sun itself forms, around the sun is a whirlpool of energy, a whirlpool of mass. Around a black hole is the same thing, a massive whirlpool of mass, just like water. And that whirlpool of mass is pulling in all the detectable energy we can detect. Because we can only detect energy. We can't detect dark energy. So it's sucking in all the energy and converting it, just like the sun converts mass into massless energy, right? A black hole converts matter and energy into dark matter. It behaves just like the sun. It releases dark electromagnetic radiation. But dark electromagnetic radiation can be detected. So we keep assuming a black hole just sucks it in forever. And it can't. It must behave just like the sun. Because the same process, it's working just like the sun. It pulls in energy just like the sun. Since it pulls in energy just like the sun, it must also release the same energy just like the sun. A black hole is no different from the sun. It may behave exactly the same way, but at a much more extreme range. A black hole is an extreme version of the sun. And many scientists have said that, a black hole is the sun. A black hole is the sun. When the sun's mass gets too high, when the gravity of the sun gets too large, it turns into a black hole. So it's the same. A black hole is no different from a sun, and it functions just the same. The only difference between a black hole and a sun is that a black hole converts all forms of energy into dark energy, into dark electromagnetic radiation, into dark light. So from the point of view of a being who's made out of dark matter, right? A black hole would look no different from a sun. And from their point of view, our sun would look no different from a black hole. So our sun and the black hole are equal and opposites. From our point of view, the black hole can't be seen. From the point of view of a being who's made out of dark matter, our sun can be seen. Our sun spills out energy. As our sun spills out energy, dark matter can't detect energy because they're not the same. They're equal and opposites. That's exactly what's happening with our universe as well. Our universe has a center. It must have a center. It expanded from somewhere, right? If the universe is expanding, if you reverse it, it must be expanding from somewhere. Wherever the location where it's expanding from, that's the center. That's the center. The reason why you don't detect the center is because the center sucks in. The center of the universe sucks in dark energy, and you can't detect dark energy. It behaves just like the sun. It absorbs dark energy and converts it into matter. The Big Bang is a massive transformation of dark energy into energy. And there's proof that it sucks in dark energy. Why? The energy within our universe is increasing. The dark energy within our universe is increasing. As the universe gets older and expands, the dark energy within our universe increases. What does that tell you? It tells you something is pulling dark energy from elsewhere into our universe. Just like the sun pulls in mass into itself, the center of our universe that we can't detect because we can't detect dark matter. We can't detect dark energy. The center of our universe is pulling dark energy into it. And that dark energy will slowly form a massive cocoon that will sooner or later burst and turn into another universe. As our universe expands, dark energy contracts. As our universe pushes, it's being pushed away separately, expands and being pushed out. Dark energy is being pulled in. Energy goes from place of high concentration to low concentration. There's more dark energy outside of our universe than inside of it. Because there's more dark energy outside of our universe, all that dark energy must flow into our universe. And since there's less energy outside of our universe than inside of it, all the energy within our universe must flow out. So gravity is pulling our universe apart, while the same gravity is pulling dark matter into our universe. Gravity is pulling, similarly, gravity is pulling mass into the center of the sun and pushing electromagnetic radiation out of the sun. If something is absorbed, something must be released. The fact that the universe is releasing matter, the fact that the Big Bang released a bunch of matter, a bunch of energy, shows that it's absorbing something else. The fact that a black hole is absorbing all the mass and energy around it proves that it's releasing something else. There's a conversion going on within a black hole, and that conversion, converts energy into dark energy. We can't see dark energy, so we keep assuming that a black hole just absorbs matter endlessly without any release. Some scientists even believe there's a white hole somewhere, but they've never seen a white hole. No matter how much they look, they cannot see a white hole. It doesn't cross their mind that a black hole is no different from a sun. The sun doesn't have a white hole somewhere where it releases energy. It releases energy in the exact location where it absorbs it. It converts mass into massless energy. It converts energy with mass into massless energy, into thermal energy, and releases it from the very center. So a black hole must also release all the energy that it absorbs from its very center as well, creating a vacuum. Energy goes out and more energy comes in. Dark energy is peeled out and energy is, it's absorbed. The center of our universe does the equal and opposite. It absorbs dark energy and spills out matter, spills out energy. But we can't build because we can't see the whirlpool of dark energy. We can't detect dark energy. We just assume that, there's no center. But there has to be center. There has to be a center to the universe. If there's an edge, there must be a middle. If there's an edge to something, there must be a middle. If there's an edge to something, there must be a central point. So, there's a high chance I'm right about this, but it's something to think about. Space itself is just, space just follows the law of energy diffusion. Energy goes from places of high concentration to low concentration. That's all it is. The reason why, gravity isn't really a thing. It's just energy moving from a high concentration places to low concentration places. That's all it is. We call it gravity because we don't, it doesn't cross our mind that the thing that creates whirlpools is the thing that's creating gravity as well. A whirlpool and gravity looks exactly the same, doesn't it? It pulls things in a circle. If you look at at the sun, you'll see that mass is being whirled. You see the planets revolving around the sun, slowly swirling into the sun like a whirlpool. Do you think it's a coincidence that when a whirlpool pulls in water, right, it looks just like the sun pulling in planets? Because it's still the same. It's no different from energy moving from high concentration places to low concentration places. Energy always diffuses from high concentration places to low concentration places. It's not gravity. It's just movement of energy. That's what gravity is. Nothing more than movement of energy. The reason why we feel gravity on Earth is not that, something is pulling us towards the Earth. Is that energy, massless energy. The entire world, the entire planet is sitting inside a space filled with mass. Empty space isn't empty. It is filled with energy, and that energy has mass. And the center of our planet has a bunch of massless energy, a bunch of heat, a bunch of plasma. And plasma has no mass. Heat has no mass. If heat has no mass, right? And the whole world is filled with mass. All of empty space around the earth is filled with mass. What do you think that would do? That would pull all the mass around the earth, right, towards the center of our planet. Because space is always, energy within space is always being pulled towards the center of our planet. We who exist within space itself will always be pulled in as well. It's energy contracting on itself. It's not gravity pulling space towards it, but space moving towards gravity. Space itself moving towards a place with low concentration of mass. All of space is filled with mass. And all that mass has to go somewhere. It finds an exit. And the center of our planet is a massive whirlpool, an empty hole that is sucking in mass, mass-filled energy. It's sucking in energy filled with mass, and it's creating a whirlpool around our planet. a whirlpool of energy around our planet. And that whirlpool is pushing us, pulling us downwards into the planet itself. Energy is always flowing towards the earth because at the center of the earth, there's massless energy there. There's a hole. There's a place without mass at the center of our planet. At the very center of our planet, there's a section without any mass whatsoever. There's a vacuum of no mass. There's a vacuum without mass. All that mass that surrounds it will contract into it, will be pulled into it, will fall into it. Just like, when you take a bath, right? And you clog up the hole. If you turn the water on, you take a bath, right? There's a hole there's a drain there. If you clog the drain, nothing moves. The water will be sedentary, will be unmovable. But the moment you open that drain, what do you think happens? A massive whirlpool forms, right? A hole is formed, and that hole will suck in all the water, like gravity. It'll suck in all the water until there's no water left. That's what's happening inside the center of our earth. There's a massive hole. There's a drain there that is pulling all the energy into it. It's pulling all the energy into it, and it's converting that energy into heat. And the heat is then pushed out of the earth. This is why the earth is warm. The heat at the center of the planet is pushed out, while mass is pulled in. Mass goes in, energy comes out. Massless energy comes out, mass comes in. This is how a planet works. And this is how the sun works as well. And this is how a black hole works as well. And this is also how our universe came to be. The planet at the center of our universe absorbs dark energy. And at some point in time, it'll spill it out. When it spills it out, a new universe is born. It'll spill it out as energy. It'll absorb dark energy and spill out energy. Just like a black hole absorbs matter and energy and spills out dark matter. And just like the sun absorbs mass, energy filled with mass, and spills out massless energy. If energy comes out, energy must also go in. The fact that our universe is expanding shows that our universe is also pulling something in. Dark matter is being pulled in as our universe expands. And that's why dark matter keeps increasing within our universe, because it's being pulled in. It's being pulled into the center of our universe. At the center of our universe is a massive hole, a massive whirlpool that's pulling in dark matter and pushing out what? Matter. It's pushing out energy and pulling in dark matter. Just like the sun pulls in matter and pushes out electromagnetic radiations, pushes out massless energy. So electromagnetic radiations do not have mass. Heat does not have mass. Light does not have mass. Yet the whole world is covered in mass. So space is covered in mass. Because space is covered in mass, it has very few massless, energies within it. So the energy within the sun that's filled with mass, the center of the sun is filled with massless energy, because it's filled with high concentration of massless energy. That high concentration of massless energy must diffuse towards places with low concentration of massless energy. It flows out. It flows out. The energy from the sun flows out because outside of the sun is a massive field where only mass, it's filled with only mass. It's filled with only mass, energy. energy filled with mass. It doesn't have that much. The concentration of massless energy isn't that high. Because it isn't that high, all the massless energy within the sun must flow out. So it's an endless conversion. Mass enters the sun, converts into massless energy, and flows out of the sun as electromagnetic radiation. Energy and mass and matter enter a black hole, converts into dark matter, and flows out into, as dark electromagnetic radiation. Dark energy flows into the center of the universe, converts into matter, and flows out. Converts into energy and flows out as electromagnetic radiation. So that's it for today's podcast episode. I hope I've explained it, as best as I can. It's very hard to explain these concepts, And no, scientists tell you that there's no center to the universe, but I don't believe it. Wherever we expanded from is the center. Wherever the universe expanded from is the center. If the universe is expanded, it automatically means there was once a center by default. It automatically means there was a place where the universe was once very small. That location, before the universe got to this size, wherever that location is, that's the center. So that's it for today's podcast episode. I pray for everyone's understanding. I pray for everyone's safety as well. And I pray for everyone's perseverance in life. Amen.